In this video, I'm just going to go through the parental controls that are required for your child's account. So here's how to look at them. Up the top there's the Apple symbol. Click on that and then go to System Preferences. And then you should see this screen. If it's in some other thing like display or whatever, there'll be a back button to get to it. And we're going to look down here to users and groups. Now you should have your name here as admin, probably Obertha as admin as well, and you'll have your child's account here. This is very similar to the child's account, so I'm going to go and modify that. To modify it, the parental controls, we're going to click on the little padlock here to unlock it. I've got to type in my password to get into it, and then I'll be able to edit that account. So I click on that, and I want to go to, if enable parental controls is not on, then make sure that it's ticked. If it says admin here, then the student shouldn't have that level of access, and you need to go to Bertha and make sure that it's reverted back to a student access. So we're going to go and open parental controls and some of the guidelines here on what you should change. Type in your password again, and we've got a bunch of changes here that I would recommend. First of all, turn off allow use of the camera. If you want to have them using the camera, we recommend putting a sticker across the front of the camera, which is in the front of the Mac. It's a very small hole at the top of the screen. So put a sticker on there when not in use, because people can gain access to your camera when you don't know about it, and the light won't go on, and it's happened before, so just be wary of that. A sticker that completely covers the camera at the top of the screen. So for the time being, unless there's any particular reason, the student shouldn't need to use the camera, so turn that off. Turn off allow joining multiplayer games, because the student shouldn't be using this computer to play games. And all of these should be turned off as well. Let's go to the web, and what we want to do is allow or try to limit access to adult websites, okay? Or the better one is to basically, and it's a bit of a pain to start with, but you'll get there in time, allow access to these sites only. And then if the student comes in, or your child comes in and says, I want to access, say, let's go with the ABC site, then you can go ahead and add it. So we might want to type in http://abc.net.au. Oh, whoops, wrong site. Put it there, and then type in the name ABC website, and you'll get that website address from Safari, and just copy and paste it there. And then the student is now allowed access to there as well. That's probably the best way to go. But what happens is they are constantly badgering you. I can't access this site, and I can't access the school site. So it might be better to go to this and customize the channels that they can look at, but I would strongly recommend this one. It may take, over the first couple of weeks, it may take a few times to get the number of websites they can go to right, but eventually they'll have only restricted access to those websites. The other one, turn off all this stuff, restrict content to TV shows and all that, and also disable iTunes and iBook Store as well, because they could get copied content from there, and you don't want to do that. Again, unlock this as required, but this is definitely, you should restrict access to those. Go to time. This is a really important one. During the week, we recommend that a student only has time to work on their computer just possibly before school and after school. So we'd recommend to limit them to about an hour and a half a day. And on the weekends, that's up to you completely, but more than 2 hours a day is enough for a student to be on the internet, so get them to go outside and kick a footy. So go click on that. Now the other thing is, you don't want them sneakily looking at YouTube and all that after they're supposed to be going to bed. So you can go during the school nights, click it, that between 8 p.m. and 6 p.m., 6 a.m., they aren't allowed to access the computer at all. It'll tell them it's going to shut down soon. Okay, and that's a good time, because they might need to get up and do some homework. And on the weekends, you might want to restrict that as well. You might want to extend it to say maybe 9 o'clock at night, it's time to go to bed, and perhaps a bit earlier in the morning if they're early risers, but 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. is definitely a good recommendation. At this point, you probably don't want them to adjust contacts, calendars, reminders, Twitter, Facebook, or anything like that. So turn all that off. Perhaps turn off Siri, because you don't want the computer tracking what they say. It's unknown what could happen there. That's a good recommendation there. Don't allow them to modify the dock, because they just go crazy with that when they shouldn't be doing that. And then perhaps simplify Finder so that they can't get into some of the bigger areas you don't want them to get into. For example, if they get into Finder and then go to applications, then they can start messing around with the actual programs, which you don't want them to. We just want to go with the recommended programs that are installed by the system administrator. So perhaps turning on a simple Finder would be good there. And at that point there, we're done with the guest user, and we'll go click, and then the parental controls are now in place.